Lyman and Helium Podcast.
Where laughter meets inner peace.
We're your host, Shaka.
And I'm Kiana.
And we just want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of your favorite podcast, Lyman and Healing. We want to thank everyone who subscribed to our channel. And if you're new here, please ensure that you subscribe. And if you're not so new, thank you for tuning in again. And remember to like, comment, and send this to everyone you know, because this episode is going to be amazing. What are we talking about today, Kiana?
Yeah, so today we have another video where we're going to watch the video and then we're going to put in our 2 cents and just kind of discuss what our opinion is about a video. So in the video, it's about this guy was talking about why he prefers to date younger women. And yeah, so let's dive in. I'll include a clip of the video right here so you can follow along. So let's take a look at the video and then we'll discuss after.
Date somebody your own age. Why aren't you doing that?
Why?
Why aren't you dating women your own age?
Some women, not all. Not all. Some women be pretty when they young. When they get older, they be looking bad.
There's
The older
something wrong with
women
that
don't
dynamic.
be fit. They don't be friendly. They don't be feminine. They don't be
So
cooperative.
men in their
and
women
they
in their
don't be
40s aren't.
submissive. They
A
be,
lot of times,
Yo, and
men want to
people-
date somebody so much younger because y'all be wanting somebody to train. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, sometimes.
And men say that.
Hey,
Women
hey.
are not things to train.
Well, she could train up. It said train up a child in the way they should go.
But that's why y'all be wanting to date children.
No, but
that's why y'all be wanting to date children.
So listen, I see older guys date young girls all the time. You understand?
We do, but that doesn't say that there's nothing wrong with that, though. Just because it's normalized does not mean that it's okay.
No.
Woo! So many things to discuss right away. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna dive in and yeah, I have a lot to say. But before I jump in, you know what? I'm gonna jump in. First of all, he's saying
I'm
that
so mad, bro.
older women are unfit, right?
Hey, spas.
Basically not in shape. Sir, older men and women can both be unfit because
Yeah, that's true.
you can be young and unfit too. It doesn't have an age limit. Maybe as you get older, your metabolism naturally slows down because of aging and all that stuff, lifestyle changes and all those things. We're not saying, those things don't play a huge role, but don't sit here and say that all older women are unfit and out of shape and men are basically, in the best shape of their life. You know what? Let me keep it PG because
The disregard for older women.
the disrespect.
Like it's it's ridiculous.
The disrespect. I am so flabbergasted. And then he was saying, train up a child. Train up a child? Do you hear yourself? That sounds very pedophilia. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Train up a child?
Correct. Yeah,
that is
agree.
for parents. The Bible made that reference for parents training up their children, not a man who's interested in a woman in a relationship. I'm so disgusted. I am so disgusted. What are your thoughts, Shaka? I'm so disgusted.
Yeah, same. The same. I mean, I give sis her props for, pushing back. She was a good interviewer. Good for you, girl. Pushing back and saying that train up a child like exactly as a child. Honestly, she had way better composure than I
Call
would
the
have
cops. That sentence require a call from to the cops because no,
I agree. And she said that you said men date younger women all the time, right? And she said that because it's normalized. I mean, it should happen, and that's the truth, right? And it's one of the reasons why we want to do this topic because it's so normalized that he could sit there and give this kind of point of view with older women, this old women that or whatever, like because it's so normal, because it's so common, right? Growing up, I would hear, "Oh, you gotta bend the tree when it's young." That's what I know. Not train up a child, bend the tree when it's young, because it's such a common thing, and it's not. just a Caribbean thing. It's not just it's a whole
It is.
all around the world issue, right? It's all around the world issue. However, some places have more laws against it than some, right? Because some, I mean, not necessarily that, because he talking about older women. I'm assuming just over the age of over the age of 18, legal. Let me say legal, right? But you know, in some places when it's under,
let us hope.
when it's under, right? Some people don't even go to prison, right? Some people don't even, nothing happens to them. It's just hush hush and whatever. So it's such a common thing, even when it's, you know, so close to the law, whatever, nothing happens. And a lot of owners too, it's placed on the women because they be like, oh, she fresh,
she fast,
she fast, yeah, she fast is perfect. She fast and stuff like that. So yeah, he a fool. This black
facts.
he a fool, right? But the problem is, even though, you know, you might say like we're coming for this man or whatever, it's such a common. It's such a common thought, and this is why we want to talk about it.
And it's such a common thought, and again, because it's so normalized, people think it's okay. Because let's say he's saying that, in the words of R. Kelly, age is nothing but a number, right?
God, no,
I'm not even gonna go there. But
please don't.
A lot of people, you know, have that belief. But let's say it was his daughter, it is his sister. Then all of a sudden, you have an issue with, because you know something is not right. You know, grooming, it starts super young, and you, like what Shaka said, like growing up, I remember just like as early as 12 being, you know, cat call, you're walking on the street, a bunch of men, and it's just very terrifying situation to be in as such a young woman, because you feel unsafe, because again, you know, that was the norm, and not because it's the norm makes it right. And
correct.
Why? And we have a thing also that, you know, some men never leave the kiddie pool, meaning that they get older, but their dating life, who they choose, is still in the same kiddie pool. Those are the kind of men, bus drivers, conductors, who still be like in relationships with high school students. Like, bro, y'all need to grow up. Like, why are you in your late 20s, 30s and above, and you're still dating people in their early 20s and late teenage years? And we hope to God that you're actually above the age of 18. And in some cases, it's not even that.
Not even that. Because like in Guyana, where we're from, the legal age is 16. That is the legal age. So technically, you know, we're talking about 18 in America, yes, which is not even old, because you can't even drink. So you shouldn't be able to allow to, anyway, I get into that. You shouldn't even be allowed to do other things. Yeah. But you allowed, you know, in Guyana, where we're from, I don't know about other Caribbean countries, but it's 16. And before then it was 12. It was 12 or 14. It was 14, I think, and then we raised it to 16. Crazy. Which is crazy. Like, you've met 16-year-olds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's which is good. Which is what these men prey on. Because for me, I think it's like predatory behavior, and they dress up as preference, right? Yeah. Saying, oh, okay, this what they actually want or whatever, because as you mentioned, it's basically grooming. Because when you have a younger person, they're easier to manipulate. Yes. And especially with the belief where they love to tell girls, oh, you're more mature for your age, because society, you know, makes girls more mature for their age. And then the boys, their age is not mature enough. So then now they have this mindset of, oh, you need an older man because you're so mature. And it's like, no, because a lot of times what that stems into is that these guys gonna take the younger women and control them. You know, exactly. They're gonna control them, control their movement. They're gonna suck your youth. Let's be for real. They're gonna suck your youth, and you're gonna miss out so many years of your life where you could have just been with someone in your similar age bracket, where you can figure it out and have fun together. These men, frontal lobe already grew in, and some of them still stupid and still do stupid stuff. And that's another thing you need to ask. Like, why are you with girls my age and not women your age? There's a reason for that. And even though he's saying it because women his age
out of shape. Like, let's be for real. Is that the real reason?
No, because he's trying to get control. But you mentioned the frontal lobe. I don't feel like you could just throw that out and not explain what a frontal
Okay.
lobe means. Because I took a while to learn it, so I think you need to explain to the viewers frontal
Yeah.
lobe. I know it
So,
sounds like fancy, like frontal
yeah,
lobe.
so the frontal lobe, right, is basically the area of the brain that gets developed typically around the age 26, sometimes to 28.
Mm-hmm,
Right?
mm-hmm.
Depending man or woman can be a little bit different. So that means that your decision making, like, your cognitive abilities strengthens. It grows because have you
Yeah,
ever noticed that in your early 20s, like you probably still feel like a kid, but then when you're in your late 20s now, you're like, oh, things starting to make sense because
yeah,
the things
yeah.
you were putting up with, you realize all of a sudden that this makes no sense because again,
Correct.
that area of the brain has reached full maturity and now you can think a little bit more clearer and stuff like that. And that happens to most people. I'm not gonna say all because questionable.
Right,
Very
right.
questionable.
Exactly.
But it's a
And you
it's a
mentioned
critical part in like development. Essentially, this is why they say don't make too many permanent decisions prior to that
before.
area
Mm-hmm.
of the brain growing, because a lot of times you might realize in hindsight, I would not have done that if given what I know now.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Shaka before my frontal lobe again, and this me. It's two completely different person. Like, I don't even recognize that girl,
Right.
But it's super important, and I love to see when people it kick into me because it'd be like, oh, now they understand what
Mm-hmm.
you've been trying to say, and so
Yeah,
it's super important. I feel like that's something should be talked about more. That's why I'm like, you should
it
definitely talk
should.
about it.
It should. And I always remember, just a segue, in high school, we had a really nice sociology teacher, and she was a wonderful lady. I hope she's doing well. And I remember she would like try to reason us with life. And I remember being a teenager and just couldn't get it. Like what she was saying to me was like,
It make no sense.
it just
Exactly.
flew over my head. I could not grasp it until like I've reached a certain point in my life where I'm like, oh, that's what she was
Oh,
trying to tell me. But
yeah,
at that point of time in my life, I just couldn't understand. So a lot of times,
exactly.
that's the truth. So that's why, the onus, even though society puts it on the younger woman, has to be on the older man. You are
Yeah.
older. You have the years of maturity, you have the years of experience, let's put it that way, and all these things. So we gotta hold men more accountable for this, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned too earlier that people say the woman will mature and all kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is true. Scientifically, women do mature, but when I was researching this or whatever, it's not something extreme whereby women do mature quicker than men.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it's usually like between like 1 or 2 years
Yeah,
that
it's not
they're
a
older.
big
It's
gap.
not like
Yeah,
something significant or whatever. And men use that statement too as predatory because they'd be like,
justify. Yeah,
like, oh, she looked big.
yeah.
She looked
And,
older.
that was my case because I'm tall, and even though I was tall, but I wasn't developed. I didn't have like boobs and all those things until like later than most of my peers. So like, what was your excuse? But I digress.
Oh, to predators.
Yeah. Predators are gonna prey. It don't matter.
Yeah,
Like it don't matter. They're gonna prey. And men, the older men like younger women because another reason because they feel as though, they can control them, that they won't challenge them. And again, because
there you go.
especially now, a lot of younger girls in the era of they want to be kept, they want to be taken care of, like in a way we're going back a little, in
Yeah, that's true.
society. And I'm like, girl, there's a reason why the women before you fought for their rights to have their own. There's a reason.
Yeah,
Like, please
yeah.
don't take that for granted. Having your own stuff. Not saying have the man who loves you and takes care of you is one thing.
Not an
Have
episode.
your have your own stuff. Another episode, but yes. But yeah. So a lot of it is that, they don't want to be challenged, and somebody in their age gap might be more challenging. And a lot of times it boils down to that. And a
Hmm.
lot of the things that they will, get over on a younger girl with lesser experience and all those
Exactly.
things, they won't be able to
Yeah.
get over with someone within their own age range.
Correct. Correct. Because yeah, they don't challenge them too. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, I think, as you mentioned before, like ask yourself why. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not necessarily coming for the man because we try to beat you up and try to call you all these different things. But the reason why, we want to really talk about it and dissect it is because it's cultural too. Like they're taught that way, right? But think about it, like, why is that even a thing, right? Why is that even a thing, right? So, I was thinking, could it be like even child abuse could be a factor? If they were, they had abuse when they were young, sexual abuse and all these different things, that could be something that they're doing now, because it's very common, right? Because a younger woman too might help you, make, they could actually create like a power dynamic, because, they want to be big and powerful, right? So that's why they want to, do that, especially if they, if they have been abused, because sometimes they confuse that, with some kind of love or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you really got to ask yourself, because I've heard so many men thinking date a younger woman, but it's so much so it became cultural. But ask yourself, why is this? Why are we doing this? Why do we want to be with a younger person? Kiana, would you date a younger man?
I have. However,
Young.
Exactly. Let me clarify. 2-3 years younger than me. So I'm not dating. I'm in my early 30s. Early to mid 30s, I should say. 2 to 3 years, meaning my early 30s. So 2 years younger than me, but I absolutely would not date someone who is significantly younger, like in their early 20s. Even 5 years younger than me, like that's a no for me, And even though at the current age range I'm at, dating someone 5 years younger, it wouldn't be that bad because it would be like what, 28 or something like that. But for me, like we need to be at least close enough in like in terms of like cultural growth and like understanding. What do I have in common with a man in his early 20s? Like, be for
Thank
real.
you.
Be
And you just
for
talk about
real.
frontal lobe. I can't
Yeah,
think no
absolutely
man with
not.
frontal lobe not even in. I mean,
Yeah.
I I have younger friends, and to me, I'm not even like their friend.
You're the
They're
big
like, "Shut this, be
auntie.
big or the big sister or something." This other trip, and I love it because I be
Yeah.
ready for teach them. This might be
Right.
ready for teach them. So you basically a teacher
Pretty
dating a
much.
younger man.
And I mean, some younger men love that, but I'm not the one, sweetie.
No, it was like I'm sorry. You teach her, and mom is very similar. So
Yeah, I know. And in the same breath, even though, again, I'm still at an age where even if I date a guy who's 50, it wouldn't be a big deal. But no, it's a no for me as well. Like to date significantly older. And because, again, life experiences, like, I want to be able to still be relatable, like have that relatability. So to me, when you go too wide within a reasonable,
yeah,
age range, for me, it's
yeah.
still kind of no.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, honestly, I can't be dating no man that's 50 because we don't get like grandchildren or something. Like, I'm just not in that stage of my life. Like, for me, I think,
Or he has
or what?
no kids, and then he's pressuring
It's
you
even
within 2 months of
worse.
dating to want to have
It's even worse.
kids. No, thank you.
Yeah, because you know what? He done live his whole life and
And
back.
now he's ready to have
Now
children,
he's
and he
ready to
expects
settle
you
down.
to do all of that
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely. When you dating, age is important, right? Like I've read, studies that shows that the smaller the age gap, the better for you in relationship. They say if it's actually like 10 years or wider, it's more likely to end up in divorce. They said 10 years gaps is more likely to end up in divorce. So like
It's
if
a
you have
big
like
gap.
like if you have 1, 2, perfect. Like 3, like 5 years, and so it's like a medium in terms of like divorce. But if it's like 10 years and more, it's a high
Yeah.
factor for divorce, right? So I think to me the closer the age is better, and the closer the age is better. The reason why is because your life is similar.
Yes.
Your life is similar. You're going through the same thing. Like if you're in college, somebody going to college at the same time, it makes sense. You understand? If you in childbearing age, when somebody in childbearing age, it makes sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all working this out together.
Yeah.
Right? You don't, and that's the thing, and there's a problem too with older men and younger women, because
Mm-hmm.
you now living this life and
Yeah.
they don't live the life. So they don't
Done
know
with it.
exactly what to do and
Mm-hmm.
tell
To
you, and
control
then
you.
no,
Yeah.
exactly.
They're gonna, and then especially if, let's say the guy has money, because let's be for real, a lot of times he has a little two pennies to rub together, so it's appealing, right?
A lot of times. Okay, girl.
And what happens is, they talk with their money, and again, because younger women, you're listening to this, pay attention.
Yeah, pay
Yes,
attention.
the guys in your age bracket may not have the resources right now, because again, they're now building a career for themselves. If you can meet somebody now in your early 20s and y'all could build together, do it that way. Don't
Yeah.
don't be so easily impressed by the guy who already had it, and then now he's ready to give it to you, and then he's robbing you of all your years. You can't even have fun. You can't even go out with your
Go with
friends.
your friends.
You got saddled down early with having to have kids, many children, and then you're fulfilling his life of wanting to have, for him to be a father. And let's say he's somebody who has a really important job. Let's just say he's working all the time. You're gonna be the one having to deal with all of that, boo boo, probably by yourself. And you're gonna be
Yeah.
stressed out. You're gonna see all your friends having fun and living life, and then you're gonna have a lot of FOMO. So for
Yeah.
when we talk about age gap, we mainly talk about it when women in their early 20s, particularly, or
Yeah.
teenagers, to really be careful. If in your 30s, I feel like you already live a life, you had a certain level of experience. So if you want to date somebody older, go at it. You
How old? I'm sorry. I
so
mean, how old? How old?
I think it
Because I ain't
depends on
going
the person.
50.
For me, exactly. For me, no. I don't feel comfortable dating people older than my siblings, my older sibling. Like, no, that's gross to me. Like
Yeah,
for
your
me,
father.
exactly.
Yeah, Jack.
Gross. That's no. I'm sorry. So older
I'm
man,
sorry.
this girl is off limits.
But I watched this stand-up comedy with Chris Rock, right? And he obviously he's a celebrity, he has money and stuff like that. And he was like, he prefer younger women because he said the reason why, he's like, the girl be like, I want a shoes, and he gonna just buy the shoes. The shoes is like $200-$300, whatever. She gonna model the shoes. He's like, David, older women, I want my roof fixed. Like,
They're too expensive. We got we got bills. We don't even got bills. We got Williams. Like, bills so big, they call him William. For real. Okay, Drake.
but yeah, like, so I understand, but to me, if it's like true love or whatever, but if it's like literally, I want a younger woman because I'm gonna be able to control her, I'm able to
Yeah.
do this, I don't live my life, I don't want, that is where the problems is gonna come in.
Yeah.
That is where the problems is gonna come in. So what are the reasons, you think that men don't want to date older women?
Yeah. So before I add that, I just want to say that, and I like that you mentioned that, there are exceptions to the rule. Because like you said, for true love, there's some people who have a huge age gap that have made it work. Like, like we got a friend, yourself, you're going to be watching. Since I've known her, she's always dated men older.
Oh, I was
And
like, "What are you talking
yeah,
about?"
she's always dated older men. And it always, for the most part, worked out
Works
for
out for
her.
her.
Like, the younger man of her, for some reason, because to me, in a way, she was like an old soul in a way. So like,
Yeah.
it made sense. Like, her husband is an older guy, and it works, right? So
Yeah.
there are exceptions to the rule, but like you said, if your intention is like, I just want a younger woman because the body is right, the body is whatever.
Yeah, or control.
I don't want to insult, man. Okay, let's keep it moving.
No, it's true, but there's a thing. Like, if they,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer, if you do something for the wrong reason, there's a thing. Like, I'm sure that she had to wait through who wanted her for the right reason too, because if she likes older men as her type, they can get some people who want to take advantage
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean that every single time it was perfect, but that happens.
That is
right?
true.
That some women, some men gonna be like, oh, you like older men better. I'm gonna make I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah, that is true.
And that's where the problem come in. It's taken advantage of.
Exactly. But yeah, and like you asked, what are some of the reasons why older men don't like dating older women? Because older women tend to keep them more accountable. Like, they have to be accountable for their actions, and they see through the facade. Like, they see when they talk more than they act, like, because at that point we're like, actions speak louder than word, baby. We ain't got time. These sweet little nothings ain't doing nothing. So that is something, they realize that they really need to step up to the plate. Like, it's not just about, and we're not going to be easily impressed by the little things, because if you're saying, oh, I'm going to fly to Miami, baby, I fly myself to Italy. Like, they're two different things, So somebody who's never traveled, a younger woman might be like,
True,
I'm going to
true.
Miami. And you're like, no, sweetie, you got to come bigger than that. So a lot of times that is also a factor. And men is
That's
like,
true.
girl,
That's true.
I don't have money for this, but I can have money for that. So that sometimes, will make them more inclined to want to date younger, right? And then
Yeah.
again, back to maturity and emotional maturity. And
That's good.
with
That's so good.
society in the way, this is not to bash all men, because absolutely not all men are not out here not doing the work. Some men are out here doing the work, going to therapy, getting healing, breaking generational curses and all those things. But for the most part, according to the statistics, most times it's women doing the work more than men.
Yeah.
Getting the healing, going to therapy, confronting, their issues and all those things. And a lot of times men are just left behind, still chasing a fantasy, still trying to get the money so that they can get all the HOES, just so that they can still be like balling out at the club. Like, we're past, for the most part, past that. Like, let's build a legacy. Let's do something together. And a lot of times, some men are not there yet. Like, they're still, maybe now their career is taking off and they have the money now. So, and I've seen this on a lot of like men podcasts. Like, now they have the money.
Okay.
So now they're saying that they got the choices. So their choice is that they're gonna go to the younger women because they got the money now. They can floss.
Yeah,
they can flaunt.
that's true.
And they don't got to settle for the older women with the bad bodies, according to them. So
ridiculous.
Those are some of the things I feel like would make men, more inclined to date younger women. And again, is it genuine?
Exactly. I definitely don't think that is genuine at all. And you mentioned like seeing through the facade. Like, I agree with that 100%. Not only with you can't, reach the level or fly them to Miami. It doesn't matter. But like basic things, like you don't answer your phone after 8:00 at night. Like, like if a younger girl be like, oh, baby, I'm working or something, they might more accept that excuse, right? But you trying to tell me no night after 8, you don't answer your phone? You have a family, sir. You have a family.
You sure do.
Right?
You sure do have a family.
So like, yeah, because experience matters. Experience really does matter, right? And some people get experience early, but still, life is life. You still need to live it. You still need to live and take turns and go through life, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think to me, why they won't want to date the older woman too, because it's control. That's like we mentioned before, right? They just like, they don't want to be challenged. You understand? Like some women, if he be doing a shipment at work, older women be like, bro, we cannot, mess around with this money. You understand? You ain't going to work or whatever, stuff like that. So, like, she will hold you, like you mentioned, hold you more accountable. Exactly. Or to me, a big reason too is like misogyny, like, or, like, it's so much in our society, right, for men to, believe this way, this way, like, they do have to date younger, or like they think that youth is tied to beauty and stuff like that. So they're more likely to want to date a younger woman, which is ridiculous, because for him to even make that claim is absolutely ridiculous. So I think that ageism is a big deal in our society, especially when it's men and women. You understand? Because like, and some women too, they feel bad, because somebody young. I tell people, don't ever jealous youth. Because you can't get young.
You cannot.
You can't get younger, right? So accept where you are and move on.
Yeah.
But in society, that's something that like younger men are trained to that. They're trained to focus on a younger girl, or older women this, older women that. But honestly, I've seen men date way older women, which I don't think they should do that either.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen men date younger women. And a lot of times when a man would like date a woman of their age and then they go back to a younger woman, they just can't do it. They just really can't do it unless they're going through like a midlife crisis. There's a whole different story. And they're doing it for a purpose, or they're doing it for spite, or they're doing it to feel some type of way where they should be focused on themselves. But in the long run, they be tired. You
Yeah.
know, you think you could keep up with a younger woman, sir? Like, be for real. Like,
Ooh.
be for real. You know, like dating somebody your own age, it's like I know a lot of men, like if it's on for unhealthy reason, it don't work out. You be tired. You
Yeah.
understand? I can't think about dating a young man. I gotta explain everything.
Imagine you're 40 and then your young girlfriend want to go to the club. Seeing you now, you got to be in the club listening to some music. You don't even know the new artists because you don't keep up with the new music trends. You don't even know who these people are. And then they're doing TikTok dances. And then you're all behind it, sleepy, knee hurt. Like, be for real.
Exactly. Based on with your own age, to me, is refreshing. It's like it's good, and
It's
I
motivated.
would do. Yeah, I think it's really good. But that's not the only thing. There do have a lot of women too who prefers dating older men, right?
Yeah.
Like who prefers that. But like what advice you would give them to, like,
Yeah.
women who just only date older men, like especially if they're not doing it for like the right reason. So
Yeah, and exactly. That's where I would start. Like you mentioned, are you doing it for the right reason? And if you're not, is it for financial gains? Is it because okay, older men have money and they're a lot of times, a lot of the older men have the old school mindset of being providers compared to like some new age men. So a lot of times women like that because like you're gonna
that's
provide for me.
true.
That
That's
is an
true.
appeal. I ain't gonna lie. That's very
It
appealing.
is. It
And
is.
again, you need to, know that a lot of times when people do something for you, nothing. My mom has always said nothing is ever free. Somebody do something for you. A lot of times it
After
comes.
freeness.
It's penis. I haven't heard that in a long time. But it's true. There's a degree of truth to it because there's a reason for his generosity because he's not just giving because oh you're such a nice girl. He wants something for you, and I guess if you're okay with that, like okay. But for me, if again those critical age ranges where like you're in your early 20s, teenage years, late teenage years, like I will caution you so hard to really reconsider dating people your own age. Like take your time, like take your time, live, have the experiences, go
Yeah.
through the different stages of life if you
Yes.
can, because you don't want to be that woman in her 30s that is now getting FOMO in her 40s, getting FOMO, and then now you're like regressing back to your early 20s, trying to go out every night, trying to wear all the, certain type of clothes that, you probably would have been wearing in your early 20s. Like, give yourself the space and time to really discover who you are. And a lot of times it's harder, if not impossible, to do that with somebody who's already been through those stages. Like the guy, like I mentioned earlier, the guy that's your peer, your age range, he might not seem like he got it all for, and he don't. Neither do you. Let's be for real. Just like how the guy don't have money, you don't have money either, and that's okay. That's okay. There's gonna come a stage in your life where that won't be the case, but this is where you are. Embrace that part of your life. You don't have to be worried and caught up with the images on social media because a lot of time, quiet as it's kept with a lot of these social media girls and stuff like that, you don't know what they have to do to get those money. You don't know. A lot of it is
So true.
is demeaning, and it's very much so when people can control you with money, you don't want that for yourself because that
That's
means they
true.
have little to no regard for you as a person. And you just don't want that. You don't want that. So I will caution you very hard to really reconsider, you know, going with an older man just because of the providing aspect of it. Again, if it's
Yeah.
I don't even, honestly, as much as it's like, oh, if you're true love, I don't know. I'm like, is it true love? I don't know. Even that, if I'm talking to like my nieces, I'm like, no, I will fight. No, leave her, back up off of her. No,
That's fine.
cause yeah, cause I might find somebody else, not this one. No. So for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, find somebody else, not this little girl who has her whole life ahead of her. If in
True.
5, 10 years she decide that you're the one, okay. But at this age where she's now figuring out herself, now exploring life, no, I would rather she do it with somebody that is her, her age range,
Yeah.
because it gives them a better chance to actually have more autonomy and control of their life versus somebody else doing it because you've already been through it and then now you're trying to control somebody else's life to fit it into yours. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree completely. And with men too, my advice, what I would give to them, it's like, as you mentioned, is it true love? Is it really connection? Is it just a preference? Ask yourself why. Why is it that you
Mm-hmm.
only want to date a younger woman? Is it society? Is it, something in your past? Seek therapy, right? Like
Yep.
because if you were like, I only want a younger girl, with it, honestly, it's especially when as a younger person or whatever, like I didn't see it being a big deal
Right.
as a younger person, but now that I'm older, as you mentioned with your nieces and stuff like that, like I could see men literally taking advantage, because
Mm-hmm.
they've been through the world. Even if I decide to be with a young guy 20 or something, I'm afraid to take advantage.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know and you don't. And I know what
Yep.
to say and I know what to do. And, so it's true. It's just that, experience brings a lot to it. You
Yes.
understand? And you got to hope that somebody don't want to take advantage of you. But like men, for real, like it is not as healthy as you might think it is. My
It's not.
advice, like, yeah, try to know the woman and see. Like, some people like, oh, I can't be taking a good woman. These women know these days they only want to run around, they only want this, and like, you're not even dating in your age. Like,
Exactly.
you're
And
not
a
even
lot of
trying to date your age.
And a lot
Yeah,
of times they're comfortable dating someone, let's say 14 years younger than them, but they would never date a woman that's 14 years older than them. Ask yourself, why won't you do that? Because there's
yeah,
something wrong with the age gap. And
yeah,
again, would you want that same scenario for your daughter, for your niece, for your sister, whoever that you know? And if the
exactly.
answer is no, why are you doing it?
Correct. Correct. I think that's perfect. You know, and yeah, definitely see if it's a pattern and yeah, work on that because at the end of the day, it's not healthy. It's not fun. I think like to have a healthy, good relationship, being on the same wavelength is it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, exactly. And in, like you mentioned, work on it, but work on yourself. Like,
Yes.
work on the
Therapy.
things that will make you more marketable to women your age, perhaps. Is it, your maturity level? Like, do you need to go to therapy? Do you need to work on your anger issue? Whatever it is, control, like, look inward. Because a lot of times you're pointing the finger, oh, women, 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 women. And it's you. You're the common denominator in the whole thing. And you need to figure out what is it that you're doing that is causing these chain reactions. And I just hate when men just assume, like, do blanket statements.
Yes.
All women are age, his age or whatever. Like, be for real. Be so for real. There's so many
Yeah.
millions of women within
Yeah.
his age range. Like, be for real.
No,
It's
exactly. And yeah.
He's being purposely, intending of wanting to date. It's an excuse. Stop making excuses.
Yes. Exactly. It is an excuse. And as you mentioned, look at yourself or work on yourself or whatever. But like, look at the things that you actually want. Because you might say,
Yeah.
oh, well, a woman that age might not be as fun. She might not want to go out. That's not true. They get women that older like going out and different things too.
Yes, they
Like,
do.
focus on that thing instead of focusing on the
But they
age.
don't want that woman because she's too old. Why she want to go out? So it comes down to, again, like you
You
said,
all too,
intern.
sir.
But they don't realize that women have a limit. After a certain
It's
age,
true.
you fall off, you expire, and they don't
That's
fall off, they
true.
don't expire, which is BS. But I digress. But yeah, I know we're coming hard for the men, but we're not only coming for the men. In an upcoming episode, we're going to talk about women who date younger men, and we're going
Mhm.
to talk about them too, because again, we have no biases. We're gonna talk about it all. And we're also going to shed light where it needs to be shed. And in this case, we really implore you to think why. Why are you always dating younger women? And younger women, why are you always inclined to date older men? Like, you need to really search
Yes.
yourself to figure out what's the motive. Because if the motive is purely shallow reasons and not actual love, and then where there's legal questioning, like if legality has to be questioned, and absolutely no,
No.
a birth mission, stop it, like,
Abort.
no. Seriously, like, I don't play about that, right?
Yes.
So definitely consider why. Let us know what
Yeah.
your thoughts are. Are you okay dating younger women? If you are, let us know why. Like, what's your take on that? Because we would love to know. And if you're someone who likes dating older men, let us know your opinion on that as well. Um, you know, the comments are always open and free for any feedback. So, as always, we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Lyme and Healing Podcast. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. And, like I said, leave a comment. Also, share this episode with all your friends and family. Get them to hop on board and subscribe to our channel. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, be sure to subscribe. We're also available to listen on any streaming platforms where you get your
Yes.
podcast. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, etc. We're on a lot of hosting sites, so check it out. And if you want to follow us for more on socials, we're on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Lyman and Healing to make it very easy. So follow us, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Until we meet again, remember to bust a lime.
Bust a lime. See
See
you
you next
next
time.
time.